All right, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. All right, we'll call the meeting to order, and we do have a quorum, correct? Okay, the first item is an opportunity for public comment. Does anyone have anything you'd like to share with us? You do. Now is your opportunity. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to number 3, the accepting the meeting transcript from September 7th, 2022. And can I get a motion? Accept. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Accepted. Okay, now we'll move to Orange County Transportation Council Resolution 22-13, endorsement of targets for safety performance measures established by the New York State DOT. We'll ask,
Thank you, Harry. Yeah, so the final Highway Safety Improvement Program rule requires states to set performance measure targets. This action is an annual support of the NISDOT established statewide highway and non-motorized performance target or measures. So by agreeing to support the NISDOT safety targets, we are saying that OCTC will plan and program projects that contribute to realizing these targets. NISDOT has established targets for 5 performance measures for the 5-year rolling average for 2023. And that includes number of fatalities, rate of fatalities per 100 million vehicle miles traveled, or VMT, number of serious injuries, rate of serious injuries per 100 million VMT, and number of non-motorized fatalities and non-motorized serious injuries. We introduced these let me share the screen. We introduced the targets at the September Planning Committee meeting. And I will please share these with everyone. So these are set by NISDOT and we are supporting NISDOT's targets.
okay, is there any discussion? New York State DOT, have any comment on this?
No comment.
Nope. Okay, then I would ask for a motion.
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Through. Okay, thank you. Lauren, DC Resolution 22-14, adoption of the air quality transportation conformity determination for the Orange County portion of the NYNJ-CTPM maintenance area and the 1997 Poughkeepsie ozone non-attainment area. Lauren.
Thank you, yeah. So OCTC, DCTC, Dutchess County Transportation Council, and the New York Metropolitan Transportation Council, or NMTC, are adopting transportation improvement plans. And as such, the EPA requires that transportation air quality conformity be demonstrated by an MPO in a non-attainment or maintenance area whenever transportation projects are may significantly impact air quality are programmed. So the Orange County is in the Poughkeepsie ozone non-attainment area with Dutchess, Orange, and Putnam. And we are in a maintenance area for fine particulate matter with New York City, Westchester, Rockland, and Putnam counties. So there were no new non-exempt projects added to the OCTC 2023-2027 transportation improvement programs. We did rely on previous regional emissions. And so this air quality transportation conformity determination was introduced at the September Planning Committee meeting. It went out for 30 days of public comment from September 8th through October 7th, and it received no comments.
Okay, is there any comment here today? Any questions for Lauren? If not, I'll ask for a motion. Accept this.
I'll make a motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Okay. Number 6, the Orange County Transportation Council Resolution 22-15, adoption of the federal fiscal year 23-27 transportation improvement program. And I'll ask Lauren to discuss that.
Yes, so the federal fiscal year 2023-2027 transportation improvement program is the capital program that shows federal and state funded projects over a 5-year period for the Orange County Transportation Council. The TIP is developed in coordination with state and local officials, regional and local transit operators, and other affected agencies. We've been going through this for the last 6+ months, so I hope everyone's familiar with the TIP at this point. So we introduced the TIP narrative and the self-certification at the September 7th meeting. We also had one public comment during the public meeting And we also went out for a 30-day public comment period from September 8th through October 7th, and we received one public comment. I will share that. That is in the appendix page. Is this the one? Okay, yeah. So we received one during the call, if you remember, Gedalia had a comment on the environmental justice screening. And he also followed up with an email. So staff addressed that. You can see our comments here. So we did add in something that shared the White House recently adopted equity tool. So we added that into the tip. But we do remind people that the environmental justice is a high level analysis. We have not adopted it as part of any sort of project selection or funding allocations or anything like that. So it does not determine funding sources or anything like that. But that could be, we could look at equity and different types of equity if we were to update the project selection criteria. So that can be discussed at a future meeting. The other comment was from Bert Thielander, who is part of the Pathways Committee, which is Vision Hudson Valley, I believe. And he was just asking, he had 3 questions, mostly around non-motorized transportation options. So staff also answered those, and that can be found in Appendix G of the narrative.
To that point, the county has many projects with trails and bike paths and all that kind of thing. So I'd say they're probably quite on point in terms of his comment.
And then the tip, so the appendices are, some of these are new. So we added the self-certification into the tip narrative. We also, sorry for scrolling, hopefully no one's getting sick. We also added in some of maps of different socioeconomic indicators. And then so the yellow indicates above the county average. And then it's the different segments. And Gedalia had asked us to add these into the appendices, so we did do that. These are transportation vulnerable population maps. And then the tip can also be found in the narrative. And we did not make any changes to the tip from what was shown at the September meeting.
Everything you're showing on the screen is in the attachment.
Yes, and I just went over the things that changed. We also had some NISDOT provided some comments, all were on the narrative pages, funding things that were up. So it doesn't substantially change any thing in the tip or the tip narrative.
All the funding commitments are guaranteed.
We're not allowed to say that by so.
Right, anything else, Lauren? Any questions for Lauren?
Just want to make sure the comments, the responses to the comments on there were sent to the individuals as well, right?
Yes, yes, they were.
Thank you.
Moving along quickly because John's got to leave at 1:30. So. Anyway, so I would ask then if there's any other comments, now is the time. If not, I would ask for a motion to adopt this.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adopted. Okay. New business, is there any new business for us to address today?
No.
If not, then I'll move on to Mr. Sorensen, OCTC staff updates.
Okay.
One of these you should pay attention to because the 17M. Okay, good.
Okay, yes. First update is on the county's countywide resilience plan. We started the creation of that plan earlier this year. So over the past 10 months, together with our consultant WSP, reviewed existing local, regional, and national plans and documents. We've coordinated several working groups to harvest institutional knowledge, hosted 2 public meetings, and conducted research on climate projections and best practices to identify climate change risk and vulnerabilities, and inform a selection of prioritized resilience-based projects with funding and implementation strategies. The plan is countywide and considers impacts and damages from many sectors, including housing and economics, transportation and utilities, government services, agriculture, social infrastructure, and natural and cultural resources. I want to extend a special thank you to the Transportation and Utilities Working Group members, which included representation from the Orange County Office of Environmental Management, NIPA, Orange County Department of DPW, MTA, Central Hudson, and West Point. Want to emphasize and ask each of you to join us for our final virtual public meeting and presentation of the plan on Thursday, October 27th. That'll be from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Registration is required. For more information on the Orange County Resilience Plan, you can visit, we have the website link posted. I don't know if it's showing up there on the screen, but if you go to county planning website, you'll see a link. https://www.orangecounty.gov.com 2113/climate /resilience/plan. So we'll post the
We
link.
can follow up, yeah.
So that's where that plan is coming along. I think we're gonna have some really good recommendations coming out of that and some specific projects. So we're excited how the plan is progressing. Route 17, Route 6 Transportation Corridor Study. I prepared a draft scope of services for the corridor study. We're referring to as a corridor management plan. The study area will run from Goshen at the intersection of 17M and 17A and extend all the way out to I-84 and at exit 15A and B, and actually extends a little beyond that to where it intersects with Route 6. So there, not that I expect anyone to see this, but if you see like the little red lines on this map, those are all development projects that are currently either under construction or proposed to advance. So there's a lot of development occurring within that transportation corridor.
What are customers from Middletown?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There are hotels, breweries, yeah, a lot of stuff coming.
So I'll just name a few. There's several RDM warehouses. There's Royal Wines Corporation, Amy's Kitchen, and Science of the Souls facility. There's just a lot development occurring within the corridor, so we want to get ahead of that curve. And I've circulated the draft scope of work with DOT, so they've provided some comments already on it. I'm going to work to get that finalized and then getting the RFP out with the goal of commencing this corridor management plan the beginning of 2023. Would have liked to had it done a year ago, but there's a lot of, we've been a little short staffed and but I think we're well on our way to getting this RFP out and getting a consultant on board. And having a study will help to manage growth along that transportation corridor. So we're not only looking at, the trip generation and development projects, but we'll also be looking at the zoning along the corridor, land use, seeing, how we can manage future growth, maybe even encourage some other types of development in the corridor so that there's opportunities for people to live closer to work, some of those scenarios as well. So we'll look at all of that.
So 17M from Middletown to Goshen is not going to be a parking lot anymore?
We hope.
I didn't say that.
During peak hours?
We know there are deficiencies within the corridor, so.
That's not part of making it 2-lane and 4-lane 17M, right?
That was
I-
a Middletown TOT.
That would be, that's a state.
No, part of the recommendation, because
It
that was
is.
talked about 2 years ago, I think, yeah, or thought about.
I don't know that the funding's in the,
Wow, that
in the
DOT is a
future.
big dollar. Yeah.
It's a state highway. We will form a study advisory group. Once we get the consultant on board, that will include state DOT, the town of Wayweyanda, town of Goshen, village of Goshen, members from OCTC who are interested, and yeah, we're excited to get that project in the way. And I'll leave it there. And
Can I
last,
say another comment about this?
yes,
So everybody knows, Harry knows, the city has an agreement with the county to develop Indigo as water resource. And in return, the city will provide water to 17M, water and sewer services to 17M all the way down to Goshen.
okay.
That's an agreement that was signed when Harry was there.
And
And
the first 350,000 gallons per day are free.
What's that?
The first 350,000 gallons per day.
I like that.
We can commit up to a million gallon of, and the county will have a surcharge on it to make some money. I think $1 per thousand, whatever the agreement was.
It was small.
Yeah, $1 per thousand
Well,
gallons. And and now the Mid Hudson Psychiatric Center, the forensic center in there.
Yeah.
They want to extend the line all the way to Middletown. So
Oh,
I'll be
okay.
talking to Harry and Steve and their group in there to see what we can do, possibly to enlarge it so that it will service industrial development, because that's the agreement between the county and
They
the
have a
city.
small sewer plant there.
They're gonna abandon all that.
We almost took it over and this, with the.
Yeah, no, it's-
Yes.
It's very bad. So their engineers
Yeah.
from Albany, they're gonna abandon it. They're gonna put a water line and sewer line all the way up to Middletown.
On the railroad, on the trail,
No, on 17,
17M.
17, yes.
So they're gonna go under 84? Because I mean, we looked at that and that's, about 17 years ago, we got a price and it was almost $2 million then. I can't imagine what it is now.
They got plenty of money.
That's Dasney who was doing the project for them. It's basically replacing the existing psychiatric center, the
Okay,
whole new
dormitory.
facility. Yeah, the whole state of the art facility to abandon the existing one, abandon the sewer lines, the pump station, everything, put in new ones, and then bring it up to Middletown. So that's the plan right now. They're only talking about 40,000 gallons per day, but we need to talk to you and
Yeah,
Steve about,
sure.
and you guys, all of you guys, about potentially what do you have in mind, and size it the pipe so that we don't oversize it, but we don't undersize it at the same time and all that stuff. So we're gonna start the conversation very soon.
This is,
Mhm.
this is,
That's why I
Be
asked.
involved in that conversation.
okay. Well, this will play into this whole corridor management plan, because if you have the water and sewer infrastructure, we can, as we look at the zoning, you might be able to accommodate different uses that,
You don't do something with the road network and
Yeah.
the sewer and water is not gonna matter.
Right.
we have to look at it in a
You can't get
holistic
down there
manner.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
A very good point.
I'd like, we should, if someone can share that agreement with us.
Oh,
that
yeah,
would be
it's you guys have it, we have
Okay.
it. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
And Jacob, if there's anything like potential routes of where this water and sewer infrastructure is going to go, that would be helpful to
It's gonna-
Well, it sounds like 17M.
write down.
Right on
Okay.
17, and the state is designing it right now as we speak. The state
That's
consultant.
really important.
Yeah, Dasney is doing that right now.
Okay.
They're, I think, 60%, the plans are 60% complete.
Anything you can share would be helpful, because we want to share.
I don't have the plans yet, but I'll show them.
Okay.
I'll be happy to give you the conversation and everything. It took a while to get to this point, but now it's
No.
moving.
Okay, I have one last thing to cover for staff updates. One, I would like to welcome our planner trainee, Brina Tawil. Welcome to the department and to OCTC.
Pleasure to be here. Thank
And it
you,
comes
Commissioner.
to us from the budget department. She has a BA from SUNY Albany in political science, public administration, and is currently working on her master's at Rockefeller.
College of Public Affairs and Policy. It's a
Thank
long
you.
name, yeah. It's a long name.
Very excited to have her on board, and we're growing a team here, and so with that,
Thank you.
I'll conclude staff
You
updates.
done? Okay, thank you. Then we'll move next to, actually, Lauren. So
Yeah.
the MTA first mile, last mile.
Yep, so MTA created a toolkit with their consultant VHB. They're working with all 7 counties in the MTA's commuter rail service territory, including Orange County. I believe Port Jervis is a pilot program right now, a pilot community. The toolkit is an online toolkit, and it can be used to look at station access gaps, identify strategies to address unique station needs, and design first mile, last mile pilot program and determine steps for implementation. So Jessica and I sat in on a symposium where they showed us the tool. It's a really powerful, great tool. So any communities with stations, we encourage you to sign up and look at the tool. If you need assistance or if you're interested in having some sort of pilot, please let staff know or reach out to MTA.
We was having a conversation prior to our meeting, Laura and I and Ellen, and again, I'm so old. I was here when we talked about changing the lines around. And Goshen used to have a train go right through it. And there was a discussion in the early 80s, and the county made a decision to move the stations out of the downtowns and to where they are now. And really, in retrospect, it's probably a big mistake. But yeah, that's what they need us, right? Planners, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Lauren, also October.
Yeah, October is Pedestrian Safety Month. The planning staff, we're going to work with the county executive's office to pull together some social media posts on pedestrian safety. We also have some fact sheets if anyone wants to take any. We can share language if your community is interested in sharing some of the posts, or you are welcome to share on Facebook. Just go in and click the share button. So be on the lookout for that.
Maybe something with the school districts or something
Yeah,
to promote that.
off to, yeah. Safe routes to school.
And then last, Lauren, bipartisan infrastructure law.
Yeah, so everyone was asking about bridge funding. So I have some good news on the bridge funding. We heard at the last NISAMPO directors meeting that they will, for Bridge New York this year, they're not going to do a statewide solicitation. They're going to do allocations at the county level, and there'll be local solicitations. So we have an opportunity to, and they're using some of the bridge investment program. I know everyone was interested where that money was going, so it looks like it will be partially through this program. We also have block funding for the off-system bridge funds. So we will share more information as we know. It was kind of just announced, so we don't have details right now. So hopefully we'll have them at the next meeting, but look for that. And if you have bridges, I would say start looking into your program. And hopefully we can get some bridges funded on the next tip.
You think there might be like one project funded in Orange County in terms of
We
funding?
don't know the allocations yet. We don't know. It's, I think, gonna be regional and then down to the counties. So we have not seen what that funding is gonna look like.
DOT handling that or?
We've heard that it's gonna be kind of a collaboration between the MPOs and the regional NISDOT offices. But again, we don't know about the program. We just know that it will not be a statewide solicitation this year.
Do we know, so in the legislation, it said 15%, I think it was, the allocation had to be allocated to off-system bridges. Do we know what the number was that went to DOT and how much, what are we talking about here?
I can look at,
DOT have any answers that they can share with us? And
Sandra, do you
Yeah,
have?
no, I mean, I don't have those numbers offhand, but I do know that I would expect before your next committee meeting that hopefully, we do have, a lot of times what we refer to as planning target. So really think of this Bridge New York round, it's a single round. Rather than going through this statewide, each of the individual counties now working through their MPOs, can, if they decide, if you, do a call for project, or if you know where your needs are, and then decide the best way to program those funds. But I don't have a sense yet of how much that will be, sorry.
Do you know when that'll be released?
I would expect over the next month.
But when would that be funded though? That'd be looking at 2024.
Yeah, I would expect that the project probably has to go to construction within 2 years, similar to the other Bridge New York program years.
Thank you.
Yep.
Still watching.
Okay, Lauren, anything else?
Yes, so there's FHWA Federal Highway also released a new USDOT pedestrian and bicycle funding opportunity table. If you've ever seen it, it's like a grid with all the different projects and what's eligible by funding source. They updated the funding sources to include some of the new bill formula funding and discretionary grant programs. So we will share that out to the OCTC members after this meeting, but it's a really good resource with new updated information. They also have three new bill funding programs were announced recently. There's the SMART grant program, the ATTAIN program, which is Advanced Transportation Technology and Innovation Program. And FTA has announced the project for Advanced Driver Assistance Systems and Automated Transit Bus Maintenance and Yard Operations. So all of those grants are due in mid-November. We will also send out the bill bipartisan infrastructure law website, which has all those notice of funding opportunities. If you're interested in any of those programs, we do ask if you do plan to submit a grant, just let MPO staff know so we can also share that with our federal partners because they are interested to know if anyone from the area is going to be submitting for the grants.
That's anyone on our plate. Just quickly then, I'd like to do some staff updates and Rob Parrington, I know you're on the video. Do you have anything to share with us today?
I'd like to thank Jacob and City of Middletown. We did our public outreach for the Middletown redesign a couple weeks ago. We're at the bus depot and we were there for like 5 hours, I think, talking to people about what they thought of the bus service and how to improve it. And the city came out and checked on us not once but twice, and we appreciate the collaborative effort on that.
Absolutely, you're very welcome.
Okay, anything else, Rob?
Not right now, no.
Okay, Travis, I see you're on the call. Anything from Orange County DPW that you'd like to share?
Thank you, Harry. The one project I'd like to share about is Otisville Viaduct. We're finally approaching the finish line of getting this project let out to bid. All of the right-of-way has been filed and we're going to get those certifications up. So like I said, we're planning on having that hit the streets before the end of the year.
Okay, thank you. And Olu from MTA, I know you're on there. Anything to share today?
No, nothing to share, so thank you.
Yeah, I have a little bit of MTA news. The Stewart Airport Commission meets in November and the MTA construction crew is going to give a presentation on a possible rail link to Stewart Airport. It's been talked about for a long time, decades, but we thought it was appropriate to have an update. So MTA will be doing that at the next Stewart Airport meeting. And New York State DOT, anything else? Like?
I don't have anything to add. Sandra, do you?
No, I just wanted to say congratulations on adopting your tip. I know that's a really big effort, so nice job.
Thank you. And is anybody here from the Port Authority today with us? No? Okay. Then I would just ask, is there any other statements, questions, issues anyone would like to bring up today? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I can't go.
All in favor? Thank you very much. And thank you for accommodating us with the last minute change of location.
Yes, thank you.
Like,